no way to not have trash talk develop out of this. Certainly among fans. It's obviously even developed in the media. And I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. It's all fun, and I know it all goes away as soon as this series is over. However, I do think it's led to something that's a little bit of an unfortunate result, which is to say, don't forget to savor what is, A, definitely the best series going in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
And B, I'd argue the best first-round series in the history of the Warriors dynasty. It's got the most storylines. It's been the best basketball. And so I'm not telling you to look at this from some mature view and stop rooting for your team. I'm going to be as diehard, cold-blooded tonight as anybody, okay? We're going to watch the game and root for your team to win. I just hope that everybody stops for a second to not let the vitriol overwhelm how good this is. This is memorable. I want to savor this. I won't if they lose, but if the Warriors win this, this is easily the best and most memorable first-round series in their entire run, and because of the geographic nature of it, I mean, this is something that we're going to remember for a long time.
For sure. And I think that if the Kings win and they advance to the NBA Western Conference semifinals, it'll hurt, but it'll hurt only up to a point for the Warriors because you have 4 titles and maybe it means the end of the dynasty, whatever it means. Yes, that will hurt, but we all know that this will end at some point. But if the Warriors beat the Kings, it will go down as maybe the most memorable first-round series or one of the most memorable series, period, in the history of this dynasty.
I mean, I guess another way of also saying this is, lost in all the vitriol, can we not all admit, I don't care who you're rooting for, admit it, the other team's better than you thought it was going to be.
Sure.
Admit
no doubt.
Admit it. And it's and this, you have to respect what the other side has done. I think both teams, you've got to respect what the other side has done. Sacramento, bunch of pups, and they came to play. And they are not too small for the moment. And the Warriors, punched in the mouth in a way that they never have been before, responded like the champions they are. I don't care who you are. Take a moment to admit the other team is better than you thought they were going to be, and there should be an underlying respect lost in all that vitriol that's being spewed everywhere.
There should be, and I hope that you're broadcasting to yourself right now as far as underlying respect after you called the Kings adorable.
No, you keep getting it wrong. I didn't call the Kings adorable.
You called their fans adorable.
And they are.
And their fans are more ornery than ever before,
which
is
also,
why we have
also adorable.
Yeah, is it adorable that we have fights at watch parties at Golden One?
No, I don't know who to blame that on. I mean, that's like, I'm not going to. Everyone always tries to do
I blame you for calling them adorable. Some guy called us adorable. Let's fight. Totally. Yeah. Let's throw hands. Exactly.
Everyone always tries to blame an entire fan base when there's a fight at a game, as if it doesn't take two to tango, and as if that one fan represents the entire fan base.
The entire fan base.
I said it when this came out. You know, after that, what was that game 4 or was that game 3? The watch party at Golden One where the fight broke
game
out.
Game 4, yeah.
Morons.
It's game 4, totally.
Absolute morons. Yeah. I don't care what jersey you're wearing. I don't care who you represent. Getting into a fight at a game has got to be one of the stupidest things you could possibly do. And it's
the only thing more stupid is getting fight at a game that you're watching on TV. You know?
Correct. They weren't even at a game.
They weren't even at a game.
It's well played.
They were watching a game.
The only thing that would be
TV.
stupider would be like if you looked at the other person and said, you know where we should do this? Not meet me outside. Meet me at the local police department, and let's get in a fight in the lobby.
Totally.
This is the dumbest place on earth. A, you're going to go viral. You will be videoed. B, you will be caught. C, you will not be allowed to go back to one of your favorite places. B, you got into a fight over other people playing sports. It's honestly the stupidest possible thing. I don't get to this point anymore. I'm like, oh, gosh, you know, to feel bad and what happened and who got involved. Whose fault was it?
Right.
You're all morons.
Totally.
Period. All of you. All of you. You throw hands. If you even start getting to a point where you're screaming at each other, you are a moron.
Exactly.
Period.
And tonight it's going to be peaceful, I'm sure, in the stands, peaceful in I guess it's the DOCO, the downtown commerce area.
Yeah.
Is it DOCO?
Sure.
Is that?
Yep,
I think that's what we call it. So
Yep.
I'm sure Warriors fans will be respectful. It's the first time the Warriors have had a first-round Game 5 on the road since 2014 when they played at the Clippers. And the Warriors went to L.A., tied at 2 games apiece. They lost 113 to 103.
Oof.
DeAndre Jordan with 25 and 18.
Did he hit any free throws?
He was 9 of 17
Oh, God.
from the line.
So they did a
They
hack
must
a
have
DJ.
hacked a DJ.
That's
yeah.
what they called it back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Hack a DJ.
Jamal Crawford, Darren Collison, Blake Griffin. Remember him?
Unfortunately,
And
I do.
CP3 with 20 points as the Clippers beat the Warriors. Now, the Warriors would come home and win Game 6.
Right.
They would lose Game 7 on the
Game
road. But that's the last time this team had a Game 5 in the first round at 2-2 apiece.
The other thing I think we really want to get to, and we're going to play something from Draymond Green, and he said it all the way back. Let's see, where are we? This is almost 4 months ago now. Almost 4 months ago. This is in early January.
Yeah.
We are still just taking the wrapping paper off of 2023. January 5th, I want you to listen to what Draymond Green had to say.
When I look at our team on the road and our team at home, it's 2 different teams, but it's not. And here's why. The margin for error that you have at home, you don't have near that margin of error when you're on the road. And I personally don't think we've adjusted to that well throughout the season. Like our margin for, the same passes we'll make at home, we make on the road. The same shots we'll take at home, we take on the road. And you can't do that. It has to be more methodical. It has to be a lot more thoughtful. And we've struggled in that area. As a leader, I can take that on the chin. I have to be better. I have to do what I can to make sure that we're better.
Okay, so that's an interesting sort of a clip where Draymond is saying we are the exact same team on the home and the road, and that's the problem. You have to be better on the road in order to win. And I get that, right? This impressive stat that the Warriors have where they've won at least one road game in every playoff series. It's incredible, and it's on the line again now this week, either tonight or Sunday, or else that's going to be not only a wrap for that stat, it's going to be a wrap for the Warriors if they don't win one of these games. I'm trying to figure out, and 888-957-9570, to what level are we insane? The Warriors are favored tonight. The spread is going up. It just went to 2. To what level are we insane? Because it is April 26th.
Yeah.
It's April 26th. This team has been playing basketball since October, and not one time have they played outside of Chase Center where we went, wow, they played really well and won and beat a good team. That has not happened one time. And here we are again, expecting a different result. The definition of insanity.
11 and 32 on the road if you add in the postseason. And, Draymond Green talked about the margin for error. And let me just look at the stats in terms of home and road. They've been 22 games worse in the regular year from home and road. And if you add in the 2 playoff games, they're actually 24 games worse. They're 35 and 8 at home. They're 11 and 32 on the road. In terms of turnovers, they're only turning it over 1.5 more times per game on the road. In terms of points a game, they're only scoring 1.5 points a game fewer on the road than they are at home. Field goal percentage, almost exactly the same. 3-point percentage, just a little bit lower on the road. It's really the defense, Mark. When you talk about the defensive factor here, they're giving up 11.8 points, or 10.8 rather, points a game more on the road than they are at home. Offensively, almost identical. A little bit sloppier with the ball. The shooting is very close to the same. It's the defense. So why can't you defend on the road?
I don't know. And is that wrapped up in what the other offense is doing? We always talk about how the role players play better when they're at home. So maybe the defense is different because what they're facing is better. Listen, the bottom line is no matter who you are, all the way up to Steve Kerr, who came on this show and scratched his head as to why. Why? He couldn't answer it. You're giving metrics. He gave metrics that day.
Right.
They all tell you it shouldn't be this bad. It shouldn't, for whatever reason, the other team makes all their shots when we're on the road.
3-pointers on the road, 33% against at home, 39.7 on the road.
Right, but are you doing the same thing? Are you in the same place? The advanced metrics will tell you that their hand is just as much in the face of Keegan Murray on the road as it is at home, but for whatever reason, 6 percentage points higher, the shots are going in when they don't play at Chase Center. So if you don't know the reason, and I don't know the reason, and the fans don't know the reason, and Steve Kerr doesn't know the reason, maybe that's why we sit here and think tonight's going to be different. But this is my fear, the only huge, healthy fear that I've got left for the Warriors in this series. I believe they are slightly the better team. I believe, obviously, their experience is going to matter. The later it goes into a series, I think it favors the favorite. It favors the team that's been there, all of that stuff. And if momentum exists, I'm not sure that it does, but if it does, they've got it. So all of those things are in their favor. But I got one blinking neon red sign. They've got to win a game on the road against a good team. And they haven't done it. We've gone through Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's.
Kwanzaa.
I had a birthday. My daughter had a birthday.
Yeah.
My son had a birthday.
Valentine's, St. Patty's Day,
My
and
other
Easter.
son had a birthday. The lovely Christy had a birthday. One of her daughters had a birthday.
Shoot.
We're going to St. Patrick's Day.
It's a lot of cake.
There is all of and all that time, not once have they done what we all think they're just going to go do tonight. That's crazy. There's got to be something going on.
It's only crazy if they don't do it because they do it every single year in April and or May.
This is crazy.
Thank you, Rick, and or June. This is what they do in the playoffs. So you're right. The fact that they were 11-30 in the regular year and they're 0-2 in the playoffs, that's a real thing. And that's a big sample size. It's not a small sample. That's a big sample. But also a big sample is this core, this coach, this team, they win on the road in the playoffs. They do it.
Well,
they never have not done it.
But here's the problem. I think it's not that you can't do a little bit of this. I think we do too much of this. When we say this team, we're talking about this team for the last 10 years. And this team is not that team because all of those teams never, ever, ever did they ever fall down 0-2. And this team did. So when we say, well, the Warriors never fall down 0-2, well, this team does. This team does. Well, the Warriors always win a game on the road.
Always.
Well, does this Warriors team? Because, again, that's
0-2 doesn't matter anymore.
Not anymore.
It's best of 3 now.
Although, yes, it does.
I don't think 0-2 matters.
Well, but it does because now you're only 2-2. And you had to have a Herculean game 3 and 4 effort just to get here, and you still don't have home court advantage.
But you've been down 3-1, and you've made it happen.
Has this team?
Well, this core.
This core.
And if you want to talk about the original playoff team, Curry, Thompson, Lee, Jermaine O'Neal, Iguodala, Barnes, Draymond off the bench, Mo Spates and Steve Blake, and Jordan Crawford and Hilton Armstrong.
Yep.
Do you remember Hilton Armstrong?
Not really.
In Game 1 against the Clippers in 2014?
I barely remember him at all.
Exactly.
Let alone in that game.
They beat the Clippers in Game 1.
Yeah.
In a series they lost in 7. So this core, they've been through this before.
Yes, they have. I'm not worried about that.
I throw out the regular season 11-30. I throw it out.
Okay. Do you throw out last week?
I threw it out last week.
You do?
Last week they had a great chance to win at least one of those games.
But they didn't. They had a great chance to win all of these games, but they didn't.
But they're 2-2. They're not 1-3.
Correct. But that's what I'm getting. But that's also a characteristic they've had all year. They don't lose at home. But I remember saying this to you before the playoffs. This is great that they're healthy. This is great that we're all optimistic. Y'all realize they're going to have no home court advantage the whole damn time. They might get lucky. They might actually have it next round.
They will.
They might if they get to the next round. But this has got to change or else. And so far, it hasn't changed. So I'm not here trying to ring some sort of negative bell. I'm as insane as all of you. I'm going out tonight with friends, and I think the Warriors are going to win because I always think they're going to win. But I'd like to point out that what we all think they're going to do tonight, they haven't done it once.
Well, 11 times they've done it.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what
this
you're saying.
This is a good team. This is a good team.
Well, the other guys, they get paid too, Mark.
And this is a team that's going to play their players. Don't tell me about when they beat Sacramento at Golden 1 2.5 weeks ago. Irrelevant. No Fox, no Sabonis, no Herter, no nothing. This team is good. They're a high-level playoff team. They're playing their players, and the Warriors have not done that, not once, not all year long. Why is it that we think they're going to do it tonight? That's all I'm asking.
Championship pedigree.
DNA. Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, Cole in Pleasant Hill. You're on with Willard and Dibs. Hey, Cole, what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to the grocery store, but before I walk in, thanks for taking my call. Two little things here. One of them, this mental block of winning on the road right now needs to get done. It reminds me of when we couldn't win in San Antonio, and there was that big span of time. We were playing them in the playoffs.
Yep.
We couldn't win there, and then we did win there, and that was a big deal. We overcame that hurdle, and we went on and made it all happen. Key, I think I just need to see and tell my buddies today, if I see one Warrior down there getting rebounds after shots, both offensive and defensive side, I don't think we're going to win. If I see two Dubs down there trying to get those rebounds, we got a good chance at a victory there. Get these rebounds, drive to the hole, and gosh, I just want this game so bad.
Yep.
So, again, thanks for the call, guys. You're doing a great job, and let's go Dub.
Cole, thanks, man.
Thanks, Cole.
Yeah, I do. I do think in a weird way it comes down to effort, and that sounds so sophomoric. It sounds so little league to just be like, yeah, I get to go out there and try. I mean, but let's think about some of the clues that we've been given. Jonathan Kuminga's not on the floor anymore in these games. What happened last time we saw him? We saw him standing by himself in the corner, not going for a rebound. Sure. What did we hear Draymond Green say? I have a hard time getting out of bed in March for basketball games. We had the guest earlier in the week, Raja Bell, who talked about, or that might have been last week, who talked about the fact that while he's not been on any dynasties, he's talked to a lot of guys who have been on repeated runs of success. And what do they tell you? It gets exhausting. It's exhausting. So as sophomoric as it sounds, I honestly believe the key for the Warriors is to somehow summon the energy. They have to just summon the energy. That sounds so simple. It's so hard. They've been there 1,000 times. We're right back to their backs not being against the wall again, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And what do we know about the Kings? Oh, they're going to summon the energy. They're going to have no problem summoning the energy. And so that's the Warriors' assignment tonight. It's harder than it sounds.
It's much harder than it sounds, but you've got De'Aaron Fox with a bad finger, and you've got Domas Sabonis, who is broken. He's not completely broken, but in this series, he has been badly damaged. Now, role players do play better at home. Malik Monk, he'll play better.
Oof.
Keegan Murray, he's woken up in this series. So I'm not saying it's just as easy as shut down Fox and Sabonis is going to be what he was, and you're going to win by 22. I do think that this is a game where the championship pedigree shows, and I think that the Warriors have the experience in this spot to go out there and get the win.
Yeah, you just mentioned something that I also would like to remind people. You know, De'Aaron Fox could A, not play well, or B, end up not playing at all. Don't think that the Kings aren't still a threat. Like they've still got plenty of players.
Oh, he's playing.
I know he's playing, but he could get knocked out. He'd get knocked out, right? Like they've all kind of agreed. Even he said, he goes, I think he said today, if it's like it is now, we're good. This is a non-issue. But could it get whacked in the game?
It better.
Right? It could. Could this whole thing change mid-game? Absolutely it could. So if he gets knocked out of the game or if it's bothering him and he's ineffective, I'm not acting for 1 second like the Kings aren't still a threat to win the game.
Especially at home, yeah.
They got plenty of people who can score the basketball.
No doubt.
Plenty.
And they have yet to have a game where they really go on a heater from 3 and they shoot the way that they shot in the regular season, and you're more likely to do that at home than you are on the road. So, yeah, I totally get that in terms of what could happen. I just look at this matchup, and the Warriors, it feels like to me that they maybe have figured out a couple of things after game 1 and game 2. And I know they had to survive game 4, but they were in control. If Steph knew how many timeouts there were, and if Andre Iguodala wouldn't have been signaling timeout, maybe that game ends in a different way.
No, they game 4 was their game. They were the better team in game 4. They almost gagged it away.
And game 3 was not a blowout per se, but they were in control.
I'll put it this way. The Warriors were more in control of the Kings at Chase than the Kings were in control of the Warriors at Golden 1.
Good point.
I actually thought in game 1, if you wanted to log the number of minutes in the full game where it felt like if you're just logging who feels like they're playing better, I think the Warriors actually probably had a higher number of minutes than the Kings in game 1. The Kings just got the ones that mattered.
Yeah.
They got the fourth quarter.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is, fourth quarter Fox is a real thing. So.
Yeah.